Village of Peoria Heights Board of Trustees meeting. Meeting is now called to order. Would you please rise and join us in the pledge of the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn, Trustee Carter, present. Trustee Mariscal, Trustee Cumming,
present.
Trustee Reichert, present. Trustee Fuller,
present.
Thank you very much. I know Trustee Harn had to be out of town suddenly on work, so that's why he couldn't be here tonight. First order of business tonight is the approval of the Board of Trustees minutes for our October 20th meeting. Are there any changes that need to be made to the minutes?
I move that we accept the minutes as submitted.
We have a motion from Trustee Cummings, second from Trustee Carter. All those in favor of approving the Board of Trustees minutes for the October 20th, 2015 meeting as submitted, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. The board has approved the Board of Trustees minutes for October 20th. Next order of business tonight is correspondence, and that will be presented by our village clerk, Shauna Musselman.
I have no correspondence this evening.
Okay, thank you very much. No announcements tonight, so we'll go directly to trustee reports. Trustee Harn could not be here. Mr. Director, do you have any news on the Public Works?
Well, the only thing I would add for folks out there watching at home would be that with leaf season upon us, please remember, don't blow them into the street. The sweeper will be working for the next few weeks to pick them up, but it really does create a lot of problems for us. So please, if they can avoid it, bag them and dispose of them properly. And I know you always do, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, and we also want to tell people, even if you blow them into the street, make sure you don't burn them. Because we've had a few people do that, and they've ruined the blacktop.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. See, I feel much better now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anything else, Mr. Director?
That is it.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll go to administration personnel with Trustee Cumming.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. Just like to announce that the tower is now closed for the season and will reopen next spring, sometime in April. And as soon as we get that information, we'll pass it along. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions at all for Trustee Cumming? All right, thank you again. We'll move to economic development, village improvements with Trustee Carter.
Thank you. I have nothing to report.
All right, thank you very much. We'll move to the police department with Trustee Fuller.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I just have the announcement that the Neighborhood Watch meeting this month is on Monday, the 30th, up here at Village Hall, 6:30 p.m.
All right, thank you. Any questions at all for Trustee Fuller? All right, thanks again. Trustee Mariscal could not be here tonight. Mr. Administrator, any news on the building property maintenance front?
Nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. And then we will close out with the fire department with Trustee Reichert.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Comments from the audience? If you would come up to the village lectern and give us your name and address.
Okay. My name is Sharon Atterbury. I live at 5701 North Terrace Court, number 3. And I always like to start out with praise, and that is for all of you and for your time that you dedicate to your jobs. And also our wonderful, wonderful street department. In the wintertime, I have told people this. Go through the Heights. It's the best maintained roads in the whole area, and I'm not kidding. They do a marvelous job. I never have to be concerned about the roads up here. And the surrounding areas, that's not the case a lot of times. So we appreciate everything that the Public Works Department does. And the reason I'm up here, I've lived in the Heights almost 40 years. And I have decided that it's time to air a problem, and that is the issue of people burning leaves. Last night, I wasn't home, but my husband called to complain about a person on Terrace View Lane that had been burning for quite a while, and it was windy last night, and even after 6 o'clock, it continued on. And when the policeman came, he said, "Oh, we just had a complaint about the same thing over in the apartments complex." Now, that's quite a ways away. Now, I know people are allowed to burn, but I learned very quickly when I moved into the Heights, and it was my responsibility to rake my leaves, that you cannot burn leaves once they've been rained on. The only way you can get them going is pour loads of gasoline on them or lighter fluid or whatever. And then the other problem is these people may start these fires in the allotted legal time, but the problem is after dark, after 6 o'clock, you cannot always locate where the problem's coming from. So they're breaking the law, you call the police, but you're not able to tell them where the fire's coming from because they're burning wet leaves and they smolder. So smoldering, you know what the difference is between a full-blown fire where you have the flames coming up, but when it smolders, you don't have flames. So it's very hard to locate where the problem is. And you can have a beautiful evening, have the windows open, the doors open, and then all of a sudden, here comes the smoke, and you have to shut up your house. And there are more and more kids, especially in the United States, are coming up with asthma problems. And believe me, that can be a big trigger, smoke. And Peoria, the city of Peoria, burning has been outlawed for many years. And in the Heights here, we have yard waste collection. So I would like to know why this is still allowed in this age when we have an alternative, and that is yard waste collection. Why do we still allow this to go on when I think the EPA would agree it is a form of air pollution?
Sharon, I don't have probably a really good answer for you other than it's a tradition. It's always been allowed here. When I first got into office, I spoke with people about it, and overwhelmingly everyone wanted to be able to continue burning. And I understand what you're saying. It drives us nuts too when you open up your windows on a nice day and there's some knucklehead that's burning and smoke is going all over, and I know who you're talking about, who was smoldering, yesterday. I don't have an easy answer for you. The easy answer would be to say it's outlawed, but I don't know that the board would be in favor of that at this time. And unfortunately, at this time, I just know the vast majority of people who live here want to continue to have the opportunity or the option to burn.
Okay, I would like to find out, how did Peoria finally come up with what I would say the guts to say, look, this is wrong. This is a form of air pollution, and we can't allow it anymore. And people will burn on windy days. That's a hazard. That's a risk in itself. So, to me, I would suggest that the village take a survey because, look, like I said, I've lived here almost 40 years. Next year will be 40 years. 99% of the time, you don't see or smell any smoke. People don't burn garbage like they used to. Mm-hmm. It's mainly leaves. But it's a problem, and a lot of people do burn in the street. I've seen them. I've seen them do it. So I think if people on the board here are hesitant to make the move on their own and say, okay, this is it, we're going to follow probably the Tri-County area, I bet most of them don't allow burning. Our daughter lives over in St. Joseph. They don't allow burning. I think we're in a minority here. And I think, well, if you're hesitant to just say, drop the hammer, this is it, no more burning, why not take a survey of the whole Heights area and find out? Because 99% of the time, people don't burn. And it's not like they don't have an alternative. We have yard waste collection. And that's what I suggest. So,
I think that's a good idea. I think there's
You know.
no reason why we can't do a survey of some type
well,
in the next couple months, probably. So,
yeah, I mean, just to see, what people in the majority, people in the Heights think, because we are, after all, a republic, and that's all I have to say. And I wish you a good evening, and I thank you for the chance to come up here and voice my frustration.
Okay, thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Roberta?
You know I've been on that subject for years and years.
Yes, I think I do recall you telling me something about that. So, yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. I'm going off of, what I was told through the years by a number of people who just aren't in favor of doing away with it. But we've never done a full-fledged survey either, so I think that's a good idea. And I think the board,
When I'm outside and somebody's burning, I have to go back in because I can't breathe.
yeah. Well,
There's got to be a lot of other people just like me.
we will look into a survey and also look into communities around us and look at it, okay?
Especially those who don't stay and watch their fire.
Pardon me?
And I said those who don't stay and watch their fire.
Oh, yeah, well, that's most people, yeah. Yeah, I understand the frustration. We will check into it and see where that leads, okay? All right. Thank you. Trustee Cumming, were you going to say something?
No, I was just agreeing that, I'm an upper respiratory allergy kind of guy, and it can hit me hard some days, too.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, we thank everyone for attending tonight. No old business tonight, so we'll move to new business, and first up will be the Metro Auto Sales Special Use Renewal, and that will be presented by Trustee Carter.
Thank you. Excuse me. The Metro Auto Sales Special Use Permit is up for renewal, and it looks like he's got everything in order, so I make a motion to renew his special use permit.
Have a motion from Trustee Carter,
Second.
second from Trustee Reichert. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, it's for board approval of the Metro Auto Sales Special Use Renewal as outlined by Trustee Carter. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 4-0, the board has approved the special use renewal for Metro Auto Sales. Next order of new business tonight is the authorization to approve the final payment for seal coating, and that will be presented by our Public Works Director, Smith, as Trustee Harn's not here tonight.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the seal coating job for this year was complete in late August, and so it's taken us about a month here to just get the final paperwork in order. And that's what I'm asking for tonight is just final approval to go ahead and pay Cullinan. This is MFT money. The project was done to our satisfaction, so we just want to get it closed out and move on for the year.
All right, thank you. Any questions at all for Director Smith?
I move that we pay Cullinan $131,361.58.
Okay, we have a motion from Trustee Reichert,
Second.
second from Trustee Cumming. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, once again, it's for board approval to authorize the final payment for seal coating in the amount of $131,361.58 as outlined by Director Smith. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Thank you. By a vote of 4-0, the board has approved the final payment for seal coating in the amount of $131,361.58. Next order of new business tonight is Resolution 2015-05, which will be presented by our Director of Public Works, Mr. Kyle Smith.
Yes, tonight on your way in, I guess especially if you parked in the back, you may have noticed the big blue dump truck that's back there. That is one of two that we got delivered to us last Friday. If you'll recall, This was actually approved back in February of this year to purchase these two trucks. At the time, I don't think we knew at the time how we were going to do financing and structure the whole deal. Well, now we have decided to go with GE is going to be financing these. And so just kind of cleaning up some paperwork, part of their requirement for doing the financing is to have an actual board resolution. And so that's what we're doing tonight, just kind of cleaning this up and getting this last little bit of paperwork taken care of. So we do have the trucks, they're here. We can take a look at them after the meeting if anyone's interested. They're very nice, thank you. They should work very well for what we need them to do. And then we're just looking tonight essentially for this resolution to be approved to complete the purchase.
How long is this lease agreement?
It's 6 years, and so we'll be paying once a year. We already made our first payment when we took delivery of the trucks, so we have 5 more to go. And it's a bit misleading. It says lease on here. We're not leasing these. These are our trucks. We're purchasing them. It's just the way that it's structured.
Okay, any questions at all? Any further questions for Director Smith?
I move that we approve the resolution to enter into the lease agreement with GE.
Have a motion from Trustee Cumming,
Second.
second from Trustee Carter. Once again, this is for board approval of resolution number 2015-05 as outlined by Director Smith. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Carter? Aye. Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert? Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Thank you. By a vote of 4-0, the board has approved resolution 2015-05. Next order of new business is the authorization for overhead sign structure repair, and that will be presented by our Director of Public Works, Mr. Kyle Smith.
Yeah, if you'll recall, we discussed this at the departmental meeting a week or so ago. We received 3 bids for essentially shoring up the overhead stop signs at Cyberling. It was determined that they are a valued community asset, and everyone is quite fond of them from a historical perspective, so we want to make sure that they're safe and will continue to last for many years of service. And so I would like for you to approve us to go with Bessler Welding. They're actually the company that put them up back in the mid-'80s. And their bid of $13,160 includes all the necessary painting as well. The other 2 bids that we got did not include the painting, which would be approximately an extra $2,000. So when you factor everything in, Bessler is the low-cost option.
Thank you. Any more questions at all for Director Smith? Okay, we need a motion for approval, please.
I move that we accept the Bessler welding bid of $13,160.
Have a motion from Trustee Cumming.
Second.
Second from Trustee Reichert. Once again, this is for board approval of the authorization for the overhead sign structure repair, not to exceed $13,500. Is that correct, Mr. Director?
That is correct.
Okay. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Carter? Aye. Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Fuller?
Aye. Okay, thank you. By a vote of 4-0, the board has approved the payment not to exceed $13,500 for the overhead sign structure repair at Cyberling and Prospect. Next order of business tonight is the payment of the bills, and those will be read by our village clerk, Shauna Musselman.
All right, this represents the bills that were approved, at the October 27th Departmental Committee. The total village expenditures are $446,006.62, and the waterworks expenditures are $104,698.52.
Any questions at all regarding the bills as read?
I move that we pay the bills as submitted.
Have a motion from Trustee Cumming.
Second.
Second from Trustee Carter. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert? Aye. Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Okay, thank you by a vote of 4-0. The board has approved the payment of the bills as read. Our next departmental committee meeting will be held Tuesday, November 24th at 6:30 PM. Next Board of Trustees meeting will be held Tuesday, November 17th at 6:30 PM. Our Veterans Day remembrance will be here in Tower Park at 11:30, I believe, on Saturday. There will be no parade this year, but there will be a ceremony here, so we urge everyone to attend. Again, that's 11:30 on Saturday here at Tower Park. Is there any other business to come before the board this evening?
Along with the Veterans Day ceremony, I would also like to add that there is a Veterans Breakfast at the VFW Hall on Lake Saturday morning as well.
All right. Thank you. Any other business to come before the board this evening?
I have a quick question. I'm sorry, I haven't been here for a couple weeks, but do we know are we doing the tree lighting at Christmas again?
Oh, of course.
Do we know when that will be?
Not yet.
Okay.
It'll be around Christmas time.
Okay.
Somewhere around there when it gets cold. Yeah, when it
Not
gets
New
cold. Yeah, we'll have a date pretty quick. I promise you a date by our next meeting. Do we have a date yet? Okay, we will have one.
I don't have a tree yet.
No, the tree outside, I hope we still have it.
Oh, it's not put up, I meant.
Oh, okay.
I know where it's at.
I'm like, how did we lose that tree?
Strange things happen in this village. Any other business to come before the board this evening?
I move to adjourn.
Have a motion from trustee Cumming. Second from trustee Fuller.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning the meeting at this time, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. Meeting is now adjourned, and we thank everyone for attending.